Hey, how's it going, Brett? My name is Byron. I spoke to you over the phone just a few moments ago about sending this video over. I work with companies throughout the United States. I help these companies improve their online presence, and it's the reason why I decided to reach out to you guys. I wanted to give you some tips and tricks on some things you can do to improve your company's online presence. As you know, having an online presence in 2023 is very important for business. In fact, it's very critical because we're in a digital age now. What I mean by digital age is that most businesses are promoting and advertising themselves on the internet now. So, with that being said, let me show you a couple of things that you can do to take advantage of this moment in time and improve your company's online presence. When your future customers are looking for turfing services within the greater Houston area, chances are they're going to come into Google and they're going to use this specific key phrases in order to find that service. So they're going to use artificial turf installation. They're going to hit search. And the first thing that most people typically see when a page opens is something called the Google Ads section. This right here is called the Google Ads section. And believe it or not, a lot of businesses, and I mean a lot of businesses, are coming into Google now and they're paying to have these ads put up here. The beauty of this section is that you're only ever charged when someone clicks on this ad. So in order for Houston Fake Grass to be charged for running ads, someone would have to click on this link right here, which is also called a headline. If no one clicks on this link or headline, then this company will not be charged for running ads. Right below the Google Ads section is called the Google Maps section. Right below the Google Maps section is called the SEO or organic section. And these are the three main ways that most businesses are bringing in customers now. The whole goal is to see how do we get you into one of these top couple of ad spots. Once again, the whole goal is to see how do we get you into one of these top couple of ad spots. And we can make that happen by providing you with a really good landing page that will convert traffic into phone calls, form submissions, or a combination of the two. There's a few different tools that we typically like to use in order to make this whole operation possible. The first tool that we typically like to use is called Google Keyword Planner. And Google Keyword Planner is where we go to see how much volume a certain keyword is generating per month. Another cool thing about Google Keyword Planner is that it allows us to see some of the other specific key phrases or keywords that people go into Google and use when they're trying to find turfing services. So these are some of the other keywords and key phrases that potential customers may use when they're trying to find a turfing service. So as you can see, artificial turf installations, artificial grass installations, synthetic grass installations, backyard putting green installations, and so on. But for right now, I just want to focus in on this specific key phrase, which is artificial turf installation. So artificial turf installation in the greater Houston area. I say greater Houston area because I'm also targeting the surrounding cities outside of Houston, such as Spring, Katy, Sugarland, Pasadena, Pearland, and so on. So artificial turf installation in the greater Houston area is generating between 100 to 1,000 searches by people per month. What that typically means is that about 100 or between 100 to 1,000 people are searching for this specific key phrase every month in order to find turfing services. And the cost per click is about $5.27. What this cost per click typically means is that whenever someone puts this specific key phrase into Google and they come across an ad and they click on that ad, then the company who's running that ad will be charged exactly $5.27. For example, I've kind of already done it. I put this specific key phrase in, which is artificial turf installation. I hit search and I came across a couple of ads. And say, for instance, if I clicked on this ad that's being ran by Houston Fake Grass, Houston Fake Grass will be charged exactly $5.27 each time I click on this ad. Keep in mind that a decent conversion rate for paid ads is about 10%. Once again, keep in mind that a decent conversion rate for paid ads is about 10%. What that means is that about 10% of the people that are clicking on ads are actually giving you a phone call or they're filling out forms on your landing page. So if you're running an ad right now for artificial turf installation and you had a 10% conversion rate just from running that ad, you'll be paying about $52.70 just for artificial turf installation job, which is pretty lucrative, right? Because as you know, turf installation jobs it's a decent amount of revenue. That's a nice ticket size. You'll be paying about $52.70 for a lead that will land you a job for a couple of thousands of dollars. Once again, it's pretty lucrative, right? Another specific tool I typically like to use is called SpyFu. What SpyFu does is it allows us to spy on our competition, right? The only thing you have to do is you have to just put your competition's URL in. This is called a URL. You hit search, and what that does is it brings up your opponent's stats. So what I mean by that brings up your opponent's stats, it brings up the stats of your opponent's ad campaign, right? So as you can see, Houston Fake Grass is paying for 10 keywords per month. They're only getting 18 clicks per month on their ad, and they're paying about $50.60 in ad budget. What this ad budget typically means is this is the exact amount of money they're paying just to run these ads, and this is pretty low. This number should be way higher because the higher it is, chances are you're going to be getting even more clicks. Another cool thing about this tool is that it allows us to see some of the other like turfing companies within the Houston area who's also running ads. So these are some of your other competitors within the Houston area. And probably the final and best thing about this tool is that it allows us to see some of like your opponent's ad history. So these are the ads your opponent has run over the course of time. And what you can do is, if you decide to run an ad campaign, you can take some of the things that they've done well and add them to your ad campaign. You can also take some of the things that they've done wrong and learn from their mistakes. I can already spot a couple of things that they've done wrong, and I'm going to show you right now. So basically, if you were to run or if you were to like start an ad campaign, you want to make sure that you have three things go like correct in your favor. And what I mean by three things that go correctly in your favor is that Google has a quality score, right? And this quality score is what's going to make or break ad campaigns. And this quality score is broken down into like three main like metrics or three main categories. The first metric I want to talk to you about is called ad relevance. And what ad relevance typically means is, does whatever someone search up in here, which is called the Google search engine, also match your ad headline? If these two things doesn't match, chances are Google's going to like deduct points from your ad, and when it deducts points from your ad won't show up most of the time. Your ad might show up on page 1 at the bottom, or it might show up on page 2. And if it's showing up on page 2, chances are no one's going to click on your ad, and when no one clicks on your ad, you're not going to be bringing in any revenue, right? So you want to make sure that these two things are matching. This is called a headline. So you want to make sure that your headline says artificial turf installation, and you also want to make sure that is matching what's ever in this search engine right here, right? So it's basically a matching game, like I previously said. The second thing that Google tends to grade its ad campaigns by is something called click-through rate, right? And what click-through rate typically means is how often is someone clicking on your ad versus your competition. So you want more people to click on your ad than your competition. And in order to have people click on your ad more than they are your competition, you have to have something called silent extensions. These right here are called silent extensions. And you want to use silent extensions to basically give the customers as much information about your company as possible. So if you were to do sod installations, right? Putting green grass installations, turf installations, uh, synthetic grass installations, or whatever the case may be, you want to use silent extensions to describe your type of services. You also want to use silent extensions to describe the sort of areas that you work in. So if you work in a Katy area, if you work in a Sugarland, Pasadena, Pearland, Humble area, whatever the case may be, you want to use silent extensions to describe your areas of work. You also want to use silent extensions to describe your phone number. So if you have multiple offices within the greater Houston area, you want to use silent extensions to describe your phone numbers. You basically want to use silent extensions to describe as much information about your company as possible, giving customers your day-to-day operations. The final and most effective thing that will make or break your Google ad campaign is something called a landing page. This right here is an example of a landing page that we typically use for clients. It's not the actual landing page, but it's something close to it. And the reason why we use this landing page is because, number one, it's high quality. And number two, we've generated a decent amount of revenue from just running this landing page with our ads. And the reason why we've been able to generate a decent amount of revenue is because, number one, we have multiple calls of action. What I mean by calls of action, you see this phone number right here. You see this form right here that customers can fill out. You see this phone number right here. And you see this another form right here. So we basically given the customers 4 calls of action. What I mean by calls of action is we've given the customers 4 different ways that they can contact us, right? And Google likes for this to happen because Google likes for you to have multiple calls of action on your landing page, because chances are whenever someone, comes to your landing page and they see exactly where to contact you, chances are they're going to call that number. When they call that number, they're going to inquire about your service. And when they inquire about your service, chances are they're going to be, spending some money with your company, right? So you're going to be generating revenue. And not only will you generate revenue, Google will also generate revenue because you're running an ad campaign on their platform. So remember, you want to have as many calls of action as possible, because the more calls of action is possible that you have on your landing page, chances are you're giving the customers more different ways that they can contact you, and chances are they're gonna contact you. And when they contact you, they're gonna inquire about your service, like I previously said. The second thing that Google tends for landing pages to have, or they tend to like for landing pages to have, is something called organic key phrases or organic keywords. And what I mean by that is you see this specific keyword right here, which is turf and sod, right? And lawn care specialist. These are all known as organic key phrases or keywords. And what I mean by organic key phrases or keywords is these are specific key phrases or keywords that potential customers typically use in Google when they're trying to find a turfing company or sod installation company, or whatever the case may be. So you want to make sure that your landing page has that, because if chances are if your landing page has that, then it matches what someone searches. And if it matches what someone searches, your ad will show up a lot of the times. And when your ad shows up a lot of the times on Google, chances are someone's going to click on it. And when someone clicks on your ad, you're going to be bringing in revenue, right? The final and most effective thing that you want to make sure your landing page has is something called mobile responsiveness. What I mean by mobile responsiveness is, does your landing page work on mobile devices? Does it work on mobile devices such as Androids, iPhones, iPads, Kindles, and so on? You also want to make sure that your landing page is loading up pretty fast on these mobile devices. What I mean by that is, you don't want to have like someone waiting all day for your landing page to load up once they click on your ad, because if they're sitting there and waiting for your landing page to open up, chances are they're not going to sit there and wait all day, right? They're just going to go to the next ad and click on their landing page and fill out their forms or call their number and inquire about their service. So you want to make sure that your landing page is up to date and it's loading up pretty fast on mobile devices. Now that I pretty much covered everything as it pertains to running a successful ad campaign, I showed you how to identify ad relevance. I showed you how to identify a good click-through rate, and I showed you how to set up a good landing page, which should have multiple calls of action. It should have phone numbers and forms that potential customers can fill out, and it should have organic key phrases and keywords. If this is something that you're interested in, feel free to give me a call at 832-388-7490. Once again, my name is Byron. We'd love to sit down and have a good chat with you. Have a great day.